Hey everybody, Shirtless Jake here. Today we're taking a little walk. I want to talk to y'all about some things that aren't really easy to talk about, but I've been inspired, I guess is the word to say, to talk about it. I've been putting this off and putting this off and putting this off because I didn't know how to answer the questions. And believe me, I've gotten a lot of questions. When I say a lot, I mean every comment was this question. I'm gonna walk out here, take a seat. I'm gonna fill you guys in on some news that nobody's happy about. So I don't really know how to start this video or what to say first or how to say it. So I guess I'm just gonna start talking and see what comes out. But today I have to address the question, where's Copper? Where's Copper been? We haven't seen Copper in a while. Is he okay? Is Copper by the pond? And as much as I want to move on and just ignore the questions, after a while you realize you can't. And it's not something that you want to talk about a lot or you even want to think about, really. Like, you always want to remember, but at the same time you kind of want to forget. So I'll just start off at the very beginning. I started working for I'm a Survivor, and I loved it. I loved it. I got attached to all these babies, all these animals, and cows, horses, pigs, goats, alpacas, even these mean geese behind me. And after a while, I decided this is what I want to do. I want to rescue animals, and I want to give animals a good home that they can't have. And yeah, I picked that up from Lester, from seeing Lester do it and seeing the difference that it made, not only for animals, but for the people that watch the animals. So I've learned in my past year, I've been working here just a little bit over a year, and you can learn so many life lessons just by watching these animals. And I've learned a lot from just standing back and just watching, and you make their own personalities, and so you get really attached. It's not just a pig, and it's not just a cow, and it's not just a goat or a goose. It's like a friend or a sister or a brother. And so you get really attached to these animals. So I decided, somebody reached out to me one day about the big Copper. And Copper was my very first rescue. I went and picked him up and brought Copper home. And he had a great life. He lived out here in the pond. He got along with all the other pigs. He was gentle. He was loving. You could walk up. You could scratch his belly. You could do whatever you want to that pig. And he's just going to lay there and he's going to snort at you and grunt at you. But towards, like, Copper... So Copper was my first rescue, and so obviously there's a special attachment there, even though, every video wasn't Copper. But there's only so much you can video of a pig laying out in a pond. And that's eventually what it got to, is Copper would only sit in the pond. He became antisocial. He didn't want nothing to do with me, Jamie, Lester. He didn't want nothing to do with none of the other pigs. He was hot. So he would lay out here in the pond all day. So all the pigs, will come up here, get in their mud holes, cool off, roll around in the mud. They'll make their way back up there and go get a fresh drink of water from the watering station. They'll all go get together. They'll get in the barn and cuddle up, and rest for the day and stay cool. Eventually, Copper stopped doing that. And Copper stayed at this pond 100% of the time. At feeding time, Copper would come up and, he would eat oatmeal like normal, and then eventually, one day, it just stopped. He didn't come up and eat oatmeal, which, okay, not a big deal. I'll carry it out to him, you know, like no problems. Here you go, Copper. So I'd walk out here to his mud hole. I'd leave him his bowl of oatmeal. He'd get up and he'd eat it, and that'd be fine. One day I come out and I was feeding, and I fed all the oatmeal, and I fed all the animals. And the last one left was Copper. You know, I always carried him out his oatmeal at the end of the day. And this time, whenever I was walking through the pasture and I looked over and saw him, it just looked different. You could tell something was wrong. Something just wasn't right. So I start calling him, you know, Copper, Copper, Copper. And he never moved. He didn't wiggle. He didn't snort. He didn't do anything. So I started to panic. And so now I'm running. And I run up to him. I'm Copper, Copper, you know, I'm shaking him. And he was gone. He was gone. And no matter how much I cried and I shook him, and so I've been getting the question a lot. Why don't you video Copper? Why don't you show us Copper? Well, it's hard. Who wants to go back and relive this and re-see it again and again and hear the same question again and again and again? I guess it's just the heat. It's too hot. It's hard to work out here. It's so hot, and I can only imagine these animals having to stay out here all day long, no matter if you're a pig and you can't sweat, or if you're a goose that's staying in the pond all day, or if you're a cow that's trying to hide up in the woods as far into the shade as you can just to stay cool. We have misters, we have splash pads. I don't know what else to do. It's never easy. I'm pretty sure it gets harder every time. It was my first rescue, Copper was. And I loved him. But I'm glad he doesn't have to deal with this anymore. As hard as it is to face all the questions and comments and all that, I would like to thank everyone, because the only reason that I can even bring myself to sit here and tell the story again and relive it again and cry again is because the same thing happened to Beth. And there's nothing that can be done. And seeing Bree being so open and talking about it, and then seeing all the support that you guys have given, gave me the courage to come out and tell y'all about it. I've put together just a short little memorial music video for Copper. I'm gonna play it right now. And also, I've been looking for something to get for him for the memorial garden. I hadn't found the right thing yet. It has to be something special. I can't just pick an item for Copper. I have to find something that fits them. And I think it needs to go over here. Not in the memorial garden, but maybe on a tree, where he used to lay all day.